Hey everybody, thanks for checking in. So we released our very first behind the scenes of the year just a couple days ago, and I wanted to give you the opportunity to watch the whole film because I think that really ties everything together, allows you to see what we actually put together and if it sucks, first of all. But then also what I want to do at the very end of this video is do kind of a critique on my own. You know, it's something that we usually do with our shooters every single time they shoot a wedding, is just give a little bit of feedback. I shot this wedding. I liked the final product a lot. I think it was great, but there are certainly things that I could have done a lot better. There's definitely some 2020 quarantine rust that I had to knock off. So what I'm going to do is at the end of this premiere of this video, I'm going to do my own critique. So if you want to stick around, please feel free to bash us. We do plenty of bashing on WFS Live every single week. By the way, you should check that out and you should submit your film so that you can get better yourself. Let's hop in and actually watch this film of Elyse and Mark.
Dear Mark, I cannot believe we've arrived at this point. You are the man I have wanted to marry since I was 15. You're super tall and your eyes are the most amazing thing ever. I love you and cannot wait to marry you. You are my baby and I love you forever. Let's get freaking married.
Cold wind blowing through the walls. There's nothing in this world that's ours.
Mark, Elyse, may you bear one another's burdens. May you both place your marriage on the altar and say, God, the thing I love most is yours. Take it and do with it as you will. And may you both look to Jesus to be your deepest fulfillment and source of meaning so that your marriage can be filled with unified purpose, joy, and holiness.
All I had was you. Ooh, ooh. All I had was you. Ooh, ooh. All I had was you.
Dear Elyse, I've been wishing for this day since long before we even started talking. You are such a treasure and are everything a man could look for. Even though you might not think so, you have incredible perseverance and handle stress so well. And I know I can count on you to be by my side and push me to be at my best. You're gonna look so beautiful today. I'm shaking thinking about it.
Our dreams will be reality.
I love you and cannot wait to marry you. No matter what happens, you and I are going to get married and we will be able to enjoy the rest of our lives together.
The only thing I had was everything.
I'm gonna cry.
Me too.
When all I had was you. Ooh, ooh.
I, Elyse, take you, Mark, to be my lawfully wedded husband,
I, Mark, take you, Elyse, to be my lawfully wedded wife,
my best friend, my faithful partner,
and my love from this day forward.
and my love from this day forward.
Was you. All I had was you.
I'm so glad to have you to go through life with and to call you my wife and to see the amazing mother you will be someday. I love you more than anything on this earth. Love, Mark.
As Mark and Elyse have consented together in holy wedlock and have witnessed the same before God and these witnesses and have committed themselves completely to each other and have declared this by the repeating of vows, I now pronounce them husband and wife. The groom may now kiss the bride.
Moon and sun and earth and stars, you can count them all. I wouldn't get that far. Serenade me in the park. We feast after dark. I couldn't leave at all. I may never cry love.
make me proud to be your brother, and you're a great man, and you're gonna make an even better husband. Welcome to the family.
I prayed that you, Elyse, would meet one person and have one relationship where you fell in love and you didn't have any heartbreak. And I am so thrilled that that has come true. So I love you guys so much, and I'm so happy for you.
All right, cool. So shout out, first of all, to our awesome editor, Kyle Schultz. He's, in my opinion, one of the best wedding editors in the country. So shout out to him. He put that edit together. And we had a couple different conversations about this edit. Really, I mean, when it comes to editing, I really give him the reins and let him kind of run with it. And so I think just to start, you know, the thing I loved about this wedding, and one of the reasons why we chose this wedding to do a behind the scenes on, is because really, and I mentioned this in the behind the scenes, but this is a normal ass wedding. Like, this is a wedding that most of us will encounter at some point in our life. It happens in a greenhouse. And so I think I wanted to really do a film that really didn't have the trappings of, you know, a grand ballroom, a huge budget, you know, great location, all these things. So a lot of the challenges I think that a normal wedding filmmaker will encounter, especially probably early in their career. As far as some kind of critiques, first of all, right off the bat, you know, the audio that I noticed when watching this film, I did record two different sources for the bride and for the groom. One was Zoom F2 and the other one was a Zoom H2. Which is essentially like a handheld microphone. And then the other one is kind of a lavalier microphone style. So the audio sources sounded different, first of all. And I put the bride in a weird position in the room, really thinking as a shooter, what is the best lighting going to be? But then the audio was kind of a little bit echoey. And when I talked to Kyle a little bit about this audio, I really was like, maybe there's something we could do, and we might go back and rework it a little bit, but there was something that we could do potentially of, you know, maybe adding a little bit of like vinyl sound to kind of make it match. You hear it there with Mark at the end, like the audio sounds good. But that's something that maybe I would consider a little bit more. I know all you people out there are going to be like, I told you should have mic'd the bride, which is fine. But yeah, for me, that's something I would probably consider, at least microphone them the same way. So if it was the H2 that I just placed close to them, maybe put on a little stand, got it a little bit closer to them, that would have probably been a better solution for this. Okay, so let's continue watching the film, and I'm just going to stop it when I see parts that I'm like, I wish were a little bit better in general. That room was very tough. That yellow room where she got ready, very, very tough room. But overall, the lighting in this room was dynamite. I wish we would have shot more of her preparations in this room because it's just super white light as opposed to just having that yellowy kind of, yeah, this room was pretty brutal in general. The audio there was a little bit weird. It was a little bit like essy. And it was clipping a little bit there, so we had to do a little bit of work on that. I think that was just coming through the board. So here, I wish that shot was a little less shaky, so that's just a minor critique of mine. These shots all look really nice. I was really happy with these. I'm going to skip ahead to the ceremony because that was my next biggest critique. I thought all this was really nice in general. The shot that I really disliked was the overexposed right camera. It was just a little bit high. That one looks pretty nice, exposed really nice. But then when you come over on this side, that's when I was like, ugh, I screwed that one up. And that's really just me not underexposing enough, not accounting for, hey, the bride is actually gonna have a super white dress. And so I always find, kind of underexposing in these situations a little bit, where you have super highlight and super low light. I mean, this sanctuary is brutal to shoot in because, first of all, the lights are just yellow in general. So that was a challenge, and something that I wish I would have done a little bit more, maybe even had like a white card up front to just see if I was going to overexpose there. The other thing that was tough with this ceremony was the processional. Obviously some of these shots, seeing the exit sign, not a fan. These kids were walking very fast, which was a challenge for me, but I overall liked the shots that I was able to get quickly. It's a cute shot. I don't really mind this shot here. I think that's really nice and soft, especially for the room that it was in. It's overall a nice shot. Not as much of a fan of this shot. So I think I might even consider getting rid of this shot potentially. But I think it works to tell the storyline. Sometimes you just have to compromise with that. I had to make a conscious decision here. I was shooting this profile shot here and getting them kissing, which is exposed perfectly, but I know literally 5 seconds later, they're going to be stepping into the darkness. And so we essentially had to bail, or I had to bail on that shot when they're walking back down the aisle. I was positioned great there, but as soon as they stepped into shadows, they were essentially a silhouette. So I understood there really wasn't a lot that I would be able to do there. Because the lighting situation is so brutal. Like typically I do like to get the bride and groom walking down the aisle. Sometimes I like to get a gimbal shot of them walking out. In this case, I had the forethought of just being like, it's not gonna be good looking. I'm just gonna shoot, my tight lens, get them kissing and then walking off. And then I'm just gonna cut away to my wider shots if they want kind of full ceremony edits. So a lot of these shots, and I criticized the walking shot, but Kyle decided to use the walking shots probably just to spite me. This, we mentioned it in the behind the scenes, was really tough shooting the interior lighting while also getting that blue cast from outside. Here it doesn't look as bad, but when you look over at the windows on the left-hand side, is when it kind of gets a little bit more brutal. We talked a lot about lighting in the behind the scenes. And in this case, I'm not even really seeing my lighting. And something that I was kind of annoyed by was actually, I don't think the lights are even on here because he essentially started his speech immediately. So I wasn't even able to get in position. I was lucky to even get the shot. They started the speeches without me present. But the lighting, even when the light was on, it was being blocked by one of the centerpieces on the table. So just where they position, you see how high those plants are there. They were actually being blocked by those centerpieces where they decided to stand. So you see kind of the light on the right side of the maid of honor here, which ended up being nice. It just adds a little bit more. And then the softness of the light, you can tell the difference between both toasts. I think she does look better than the best man did. But that was something that was frustrating for me. And I probably should have done more stand-in work to make sure those lights were in position better. I love the way that looks. That is a really cool look. And you can see over on the left side, that's essentially my backlight. I wish I would have made it maybe a little bit more orange. I actually think that might have been as orange as I could get it. It was just a really, really orange room. So even on those practical lights, making them as tungsten as I could to try to match the ambience, it was still very, very blue in comparison. But overall, I like this shot. You can see the other practical light hitting them in the face. The groom has a little bit of shadow on his face from the person speaking. So again, stand-in work is important, just understanding where your shadows are. But overall, okay job, especially when someone's working by themselves. I really loved my camera position of the bride and groom during those toasts, but for the dances, that's when I had a little bit of a challenge because I just didn't have a wide enough shot to be able to capture, the full dance of mother and son, and then the bride and the the father of the bride. I wish I would have gotten a little bit wider. I think I mentioned it in there, made a mistake there. That's something that I could have gotten better at as well. The other thing I was going to mention that I forgot about was the first look catastrophe, which the photographer tripped over my gimbal during the first look. But honestly, I wasn't really that mad because, y'all, I overexposed the crap out of that shot. So I totally screwed that up. And the main reason was I just let things happen too fast. That shot was overexposed when the bride was meeting the groom because it was so cloudy. It kept on, the clouds would come, they'd dissipate, they'd come, they'd dissipate. And so I was dealing with this kind of exposure level that was challenging. So I would probably switch over in that case to aperture priority and just set it so that even if the sun was changing, as a solo shooter, you don't have someone monitoring that camera. The camera is hopefully going to change correctly, but it's a better choice than just going with manual on an unmanned camera in that case. But in general, overall, I love the edit. I think Kyle, again, did a fantastic job on it. Again, guys, want to hear what you think about the edit in general. In the comment section, again, I did solo shoot this wedding. So there are a ton of challenges that go along with it. Hopefully you got something out of the behind the scenes itself. I wanted to give you a chance to watch the film as a standalone item, as well as hear a little bit of my critique. Guys, make sure, again, that you are submitting your films on WFS Live. We do a weekly review and weekly critique of people's films in our community. If you want to become a WFS member, make sure you're doing that right here on YouTube. That essentially gives you preferential treatment when it comes to reviewing your film. So we have people that submit every single week. And if you're a part of the WFS community and membership, you have preferential treatment when it comes to that. So make sure you're signing up there, guys. Again, hopefully this video was helpful for you. Make sure you're subscribing if it was helpful for you. If you give us a like, and make sure you're checking out our Facebook group as well, because there's a ton of great conversations about things like this, solo shooting, to really up your game and help your wedding filmmaking skills. So thanks for checking out this video, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.